If you've ever run a promotion, a discount, a sales event, special offer, this means that you don't know how to articulate your value to your customer without sweetening the pot. And I'm not taking jabs at anyone that runs sales because a lot of people do it. But there's a disconnect between you, your value, your message to your customer, and how they perceive your value. And that's something that a lot of people need to work on. One of the biggest factors in this is that business owners know they need to change, but they even know the steps that they need to change. The hardest and most difficult part of that change is going from 0 to 1. Take me, for example. Each week, I talk to other business owners in these sort of incubation sessions where we talk about where we're going and where we've been, and basically using these sessions as accountability in order to further grow and pursue what we're trying to do. There's a lot of micro decisions before you run a discount or special offer that have to cross your mind before you ever even execute on that plan or even conceive of that plan. And a lot of little things need to go wrong why your business isn't growing on its standalone pricing structure to begin with. Because the answer to solving these issues always starts with why. And it's not why you, why me, why this, why now. It's why should the customer care? And spoiler alert, the reason it's scary to determine and come to these conclusions is because everything lies in here. There are two ways to win over a customer. There's manipulation, and then there's inspiration. Let's dive deep into manipulation first. Manipulation isn't an evil thing. We're not manipulating people to do horrible things. It's done every single day through discounts and promotions. You're basically manipulating someone to giving an extra sweetener of the pot in order for them to decide your worth. You give extra incentives. And that's essentially what market manipulation is, and you can totally do that. But the problem with that is there is no customer loyalty to be had. When you're selling ketchup at a grocery store, most people don't care if it's Heinz or the store brand, unless they grew up and have some sort of fond memory with Heinz. They'll just get the ketchup that's on sale. But maybe somebody like you has a special need for organic or kosher foods, and you want to buy something that your values align with. So you're going to spend more money because you align with a brand more so than, let's say, someone like me. The odds of me buying the same ketchup next week when it's no longer on sale is very, very minimal. It's probably not going to happen. I'm just going to get the other brand that's on sale. When you make the incentive to buy from you the value of a discounted rate, that doesn't create brand loyalty. It doesn't create a true follower and believer in your business. And sure, there's plenty of benefit to doing discounts and deals like that in multiple ways, but they're all short term. Even when you factor in discounts for loyal customers, these are all short-term things that you give back to them with a little freebie because they've been a supporter of you. These are just manipulations in order to continue your relationship with them. There's an alternative out there to increase your sales that isn't by giving discounts and special offers, and that's called inspiration. Apple did this. Hell, Harley Davidson did this. People get Harley Davidson tattooed on their legs. You're not seeing people get Heinz ketchup tattoos, although that probably exists. I'm not going to put it past people. But the thing is, when Apple released the iPod, Dell, a competing company, made their own MP3 player, which, of course, a company the size of Dell has all the reason in the world to make a really high-quality product that surely can compete with Apple's iPod. But it flopped. Why did it flop? Because Dell is seen as a computer manufacturing company, and they decided to enter the MP3 music space, and it completely flopped for this reason. And you might say that, hey, Apple's a computer company, but is it? Apple sold on the principle, on the slogan that we all know and love, think different. Even though Apple is the largest computer company to ever exist, we are made to believe that when we go into an Apple store and walk out with an iPhone or MacBook Pro, we are the defiers of the common ground. So how can you take that into consideration when you're thinking about your business? COVID's hit all businesses. Are you going to go and discount your services on Groupon? Or are you going to try to figure out a way to connect to your audience to establish your value so that not only are they there to support you, but they're there to advocate for you. And that's the most important aspect in building customer loyalty. In the sales world, there's this concept of price buyers instead of value buyers, and everyone obviously wants to work with value buyers, but even more importantly, it's important for your time and your resources to sniff out the price buyers early on and make sure that they're not the people that you do business with. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have early adopters that use your service, and they're going to be brand loyal. They're going to advocate and scream from the hilltops about how amazing you are, how amazing your product, your service is. Those price buyers, on the other hand, are just going to see you as a transactional thing. They're just going to see you as a commodity, as a vendor, as a provider of a service that they need, that they direct, and they're not going to let you or respect you enough to see the true value of what your work actually provides them. It's impossible to convince somebody to buy your product off rational arguments and tangible benefits, and it's so fascinating to me because nobody listens to the features, even if they're absolutely incredible. They listen to how you make them feel and how they can envision their lives improving with your service. Seth Godin has this concept, and he calls it "but first 10," which means all you need to do is market to 10 individuals. Because those 10 individuals, if they truly, truly, truly love you and support you and they develop into advocates, well, they're going to go out there and they're going to tell 10 other people about you. And sure, sometimes it might be one, sometimes it might be three, but sometimes it might be 100. And that's how an epidemic starts. You really gain a following after you build that loyalty with just the first 10. If you've ever had any success on LinkedIn or social media, you know that nothing is more valuable than the connection you make and having somebody go up to bat for you behind your back and say nothing but positive words about you. And if you just try to convince those first 10 people, those first early adopters of your product, of your service, fantastic things are going to result of that because you could just take that and you could scale it from there. And it's funny, they say that mass market happens after you get like 15 or 18% of market share. But the way you get there is from these but first 10 type of early adopters. And the reason that I bring this subject to light in the same video that I'm talking about discounts is it's impossible to get the early majority of people to try something new unless they've already tried it. So to lower the risk and create a lower barrier to entry, a lot of people do run sales. A lot of people do run discounts to make that risk level lower, that cost of entry level lower, so you get to that early adoption. They say that about 10% of customers are brand loyal. And what does that mean? I think people just kind of talk about in an unactionable type of comment of they just get it, right? Your job is to find out why those people just get it. And if you can't, that's what I'm in business for, to help businesses like you to figure out why that 10% just gets it and increase that number. And the way we begin is we always start with why, because once we establish the belief, the product is just going to be what is the result of that belief, the thing that connects people to that belief, the enhancer of their life so that they can achieve what you believe in because you establish that you have that mutual connection, that mutual desire for a better world. Our brains are split between two sections. You have the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain. And one of those sections is where all your speech and oral communication lies. And the other side is where your thinking and your feelings and your thoughts lie. And there's actually a literal barrier between the two, making it impossible to articulate your feelings. So what happens when you try to say your message, your business, and then it doesn't resonate with the customer and they don't get to see the value? You know your business. You're the business owner. You went into business for good moral standings, but a lot of people's messages don't resonate with their customers because that communication barrier in your own brain. Exactly what I said to round it about to the beginning of this video. If you're interested in having us help you explain your why, or you want to learn more about the video and the subject that I talked about today, feel free to DM me and we could get that conversation started.